I'm a Russian national born in the Ukraine. I grew up in a family of alcoholics, as did many of my foster children. They're kids who'd slept rough on the street since they were 4 years old, some since they were 2.5. Gracefully! Like an English gentleman! You're not in Africa! We started feeding them in the streets, and that became the biggest children's rehabilitation center in the whole of the former Soviet Union.
Good job, come on. Good job, красавчики. I'm not rich man. I live in little home. And I have 32 adopted children. We are here in Kenya now because we want to help for people.
What I saw on my way here almost brought me to tears. A group of kids were standing by the road with plastic bottles, just asking for water to drink. Yeah, my sons lived in basements and they were hungry, but in the streets they could scrounge and beg for food and they'd get some. But the children here don't even ask for food, they're just asking for some water to drink. I came here 6 years ago. When I first arrived, the things I saw made my heart bleed. One of the worst myths that gets spread around is that Africans are poor just because they're lazy and idle. You try working as hard as them. Try going 5 kilometers back and forth every day to get enough water just to live. Back and forth. And even if we haven't brought much food, just a bit of maize, the little we have managed to bring still means that they'll have something to eat, at least for a few days.
People cannot get enough water. People cannot plant even food because they are not raised.
Somebody's worked out that with the amount of money that gets spent on golf clubs every year in the US alone, you could supply the whole planet with fresh water. It hasn't rained for a year and a half, pretty much. This is all that's left of a huge river. If anybody dug a well here, it would have a miraculous effect. It would guarantee the lives of hundreds of children over the next 50 years. This is my first visit to Africa with any of my adopted sons. 3 of my foster kids have come with me, and they're going to start doing what they can to help. Vyacheslav, it's so good to see my sons doing something like this. You won't see them falling into the trap of constant whining and moaning. You know, my life is so hard. I used to be an orphan.
There were times when I had nothing to eat. We'd search through waste containers, raid garbage bags, pull out anything we could find to eat. I'll never forget this one boy's face. I could see despair and helplessness in his eyes, but the terrible thing is that I just can't help him at the moment. I can't do anything about it, and tomorrow he could be dead.
Living on the streets, we just smoked cigarettes, sniffed glue, and drank vodka. I could go 4 to 5 days without food because we didn't want to eat after sniffing glue. But once the drugs wore off, we were famished. We'd go to the market asking for scraps. Kind ladies at the stalls would give us ends of sausages and bread crusts.
I remember that I had to walk barefoot the whole summer because I had no shoes. I couldn't believe it when the skin on my toes cracked open. But when I came to Africa, I realized that the children here never have any shoes at all.
Just this much feeds a family. Great. I know you had a difficult childhood, Andre, but even that wasn't this bad.
What is it mean?
The girls are shy. They don't know English and neither do I. How do you live here without light?
Even worse, they don't have Wi-Fi, Andre.
No Wi-Fi, no internet? To be honest, I'd say this almost looks like the set for some blockbuster movie about a remote tribe.
Is that a roof? What is it? What's this, a door? They've made a bed. Ah, these are mattresses.
They just sleep on a leather scrap. That's their bed for the night.
I've buried a lot of children, street kids who died from drug abuse. So I'm used to coffins and death and sorrow, but what I've seen here is just overwhelming.
This present from homeless children from my country for you.
We're giving out blankets this evening. Obviously, it won't solve the problem. This is just our desperate reaction to a desperate situation.
What is it? Chickens.
Children shouldn't have to sleep like this, should they?
Stop! Stay in line. I want to see a
I've never seen this before. If you offer one of them a blanket, you have to give one to each of them, or they'll just tear you apart. They'll rip you to shreds in the blink of an eye. Some will stab you from behind and that'll be that. They don't know what they're doing when they're high on glue.
When they're high on glue, they just go crazy.
I have 33 sons. They were homeless. They were street boys. Can you see Sergei? He was grown on the street from 4. Now he is all of Ukraine box champion. I want to adopt all children from Africa, but sorry, it's not possible, guys.
It's pointless making comparisons. Compared to them, we had it so easy.
Yeah, real easy. I remember sleeping under a market counter. It was freezing. At least in our cities you can find basements, staircases, and manholes, but there's nothing like that here. That's why children sleep rough on the ground.
Some light. Let's have some light over there. Good Lord, forgive us our sins. I'll take the youngest lad. We'll wrap them up and take them. Damn it, they sleep with pigs. In my home city, we just started rescuing them from the streets, whether they wanted it or not. It doesn't matter what they think they want when they're high. All children need is a decent place to sleep and have someone to take care of them.
In this circle, all our friends.
In this circle, all our friends.
You can hug your friend from right side. You can hug your friend from left side.
In this circle, all our friends.
Let's go to the classroom. I first got here when I was 23, and now I've been living here for 5 years and 8 months.
Who knows what fish eat?
When I was traveling to Africa for the first time, I had a feeling that there was somebody waiting for me. They were just playing in mud, in the streets, on the roads. We are literally saving all these children from starvation and death.
Parasitic diseases, especially jiggers, are very common here in Central Africa. It's caused by little sand fleas. They jump up onto the feet and lay their eggs in the skin. Children are always walking around barefoot in the sand. When the larvae hatch from the eggs, they break out onto the surface of the body, ripping the host's skin on their way out. So we just use a regular syringe needle to scrape out the larvae and sterilize the wound.
We help in a children's home, which we run like a big family. We spend all our time with children. They only communicate with the locals at school, and they are with us for the rest of the time. They even call us mummies, because we are like a family to them.
They have even bigger portions than the adults. Sometimes they stand up and their bellies are sticking out. We go, "Oh, what a big belly!" And they're like, "Yes, big tuba, big tuba." Our youngest one, Mikos, is always hungry.
Mikos, are you hungry? Mikos,
Not enough flatbread, Mikos?
small too.
I don't think I'll leave here anytime soon. These children are like my own now. When they finish their studies and start working, I might feel more relaxed. But now, I just feel that they need me, and I can't just leave them here, because I've lost my heart to them.
During my first visit, I saw hundreds and hundreds of hungry, poverty-stricken children dressed in rags. But among all the pictures that I took, one in particular stood out. I couldn't forget the eyes of this one boy. I couldn't get them out of my head. His stare was stuck in my mind. I came back a year later with a team of friends and tried to find that little boy.
Hi guys! Anybody knows Hilary? Where's Hilary? Muzungu. Muzungu, yes. Africa, no. Who is this big man? Come on! Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. What about Hilary? He is good boy?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, Hilary, I have surprise for you. You know, I have many sons, and 3 of them now right here. They was homeless children before. Like you also. They was grow on the street. Now this is strong guys. One of them right here. Let me introduce. Second, your brother.
Brother!
And so your brother.
I've never had any brothers like this.
Dark-skinned, you mean?
A little black brother.
Little black brother.
Show for them what for it.
Go and do something. A somersault or something. On the first day, he was always at my side and wouldn't let go of my hand. By the afternoon, he'd already started pushing the other kids away from me with his other hand. It was as if he felt some kind of ownership over me. That was how I came by one more foster son. That made him my 33rd.
You and me.
He'll have you wrapped around your little finger by tonight. Laughing, running around and squealing. He's clearly been under stress. He'll come around soon.
Cheese? I know my numbers.
We've come to a region near Kenya's border with Uganda. It's rare for white people to visit here, and there's not much medical aid around here either. There aren't any hospitals or anything like that. We're setting up a pop-up health clinic. We've come with a group of doctors who'll provide medical help. Former street kids are the best kind of volunteer here in Africa because they're all immune to infection. Some would be afraid, but my boys won't get infected. Am I right?
Yes.
That's it. These are mites that live in their beds. Get under their skin and eat away at the flesh. You treat it by rubbing a special ointment into the skin. And when the skin gets soft, the bugs are scraped out. It's a very painful procedure, and round here, who is there to do that?
And
change all beds,
everything from the house,
all
just
the dress from household.
yes, or else it's just
And regular medicine.
yeah, because they're gonna burrow everywhere. So
That's terrible. Oh, wow.
Look, they're on her neck, her head, her feet, everywhere. Let's see what we can do. Presumably we'll have to throw out everything from their homes, all their bed linen. Let's check her house.
Where do they live? Poor little girl.
Look, this is their home. This is the bed. Well, I'd say my sons were more comfortable when they slept in basements.
So we came here last year, and the pastor of this church welcomed us and gave us this house. I normally sing. I play this guitar very well, but now the capital, because here we have land, but now to rent land, the money to rent land, I don't have.
We will find the way. What we can do.
May God bless you so much.
It's easily curable. We'll take them with us and go straight to the hospital today.
Hey, baby. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
There are a lot of orphans here. Some have come from slums and rubbish dumps. There's no one who'd ever pay for them. No one ever gives them so much as a penny for food. If it weren't for centers like this, it would be very hard for them. It was the best place we could find, and it's a world away from sniffing glue on the streets. They have discipline here, they have lessons. He's already learned to read and write and count.
50.
Hello! Rabari!
Missouri.
My name is Crocodile.
How many children sleep in one bed? Three.
Yeah, 3.
Ah, 3 in one bed.
Yes.
How many children here in one room? This?
Yes. 28. They are sleeping in this room.
28 children.
Yes.
No, others just.
This is what they sleep on. It's foam rubber. They lay it down and sleep on it, just like that. He's the big guy here. He's fine. He's lucky because somebody's taking care of him. Somebody's thinking about him. Of course, I'd love to pack him away in my case and take him home, but sadly there'd be huge legal obstacles and financially it would be difficult too. We'll do all we can to help him in the future. When he finishes school, we'll help him go on to higher education so that he can get a decent qualification and find a good job. And someday, God willing, I hope to come here with my sons to his wedding. I can't contain myself. This is so exciting. Former kids from the streets are choosing clothes for their stepbrother, a homeless African child. There's something really special about that, don't you think?
Cool, but they're a little small.
Hillary.
Do you like football? Yes. This.
Try these on.
Cool.
When I have my own family, I want to adopt a boy or a girl too. Because if we don't do that, who else will?
I feel sorry for these kids. I look them in the eyes and can see that they need a father and mother. They need to be cared for, just like I did.
He actually lived on the street. He slept on concrete with just a blanket around him. It's really unusual for someone to rescue street kids here. It also makes me happy to see someone making a kind of connection with them.
We're preparing an amazing surprise for Hillary. We're going on safari, just for a short time, a night and day. I've dreamed of showing him giraffes, elephants, and all kinds of other animals. I'm going to give a prize to the person who's first to spot a giraffe. Obviously, it goes without saying. It's going to be Hillary.
первый год, когда...
When I told him we had to leave after our first visit here, he had a fit. He genuinely went into shock. We couldn't get him to come round for 40 minutes, and he wouldn't say a word. But now he believes us when we say that we'll be back. He knows that we'll never leave him forever. That's what happened with my foster sons back home, and that's what'll happen with the youngsters here. We're going to see a lot of changes for the better.